How's it going, everybody? Mancave Dave here in Wisconsin with another autograph collection video. Got some requests to show off a few more of my albums, and so as you can see, I've got a couple more stacks here to go through. This is actually stuff, I got a stack of 45s, and then some things that, I'm a big nerd and I put all my stuff in alphabetical order, so things that I've gotten since the last update that would go in the bins that I've already showed you. So I guess I'll just jump in here. So first off, I got a 45 by the Heartless Bastards. Real fun band. Had a chance to see them a couple of times, and so they signed a few albums for me. Next, I got a split with Mastodon and ZZ Top, and signed by Mastodon. They did an in-store signing at the exclusive company in Madison and Milwaukee, Wisconsin, so I went to both of those and got some albums signed. I have a stack of Marcy Playground stuff signed by John Wozniak, and I think this guy's name is Dave. But we got Sex and Candy, It's Saturday, Sherry Fraser, Gaslight Anthem. Had a chance to see them a couple of times in Madison and Milwaukee. Real fun show. They signed a few albums for me as well. Sponge. I remember Sponge in the 90s. That was my heyday in high school. And these guys came and played at the Back Bar in Janesville, Wisconsin. And Bob, the owner, hooked me up. I couldn't make the show, so he got a couple of tickets signed for me and this album that I had. So big thanks to Bob for hooking me up. This is a 45 by Priestess. I really like how the silver shines on the green. It's really cool looking. Another Marcy Playground, St. Joe on the School Bus, signed by Woz and the other guy. The Damn Things. Had a chance to see these guys. It's a super group made up of Scott Ian and another guy from Anthrax, lead singer of Every Time I Die, and a guy or two from Fall Out Boy, which sounds like a really interesting mix, but just a great album. So highly recommend you check these guys out if you like some good, hook-laden rock and roll. It's good stuff. And then Epica. You probably saw the bigger albums that I have signed. Had a chance to see these folks a couple of times. They're a real interesting band, melodic metal. So they have an operatic singer along with the heavy guitars and the growler. So this is signed by the lead female singer and then another guy that I cannot remember either of their names. So sorry, Epica, you rock though. Brother Ali. I really enjoy Brother Ali. I like 90s hip-hop. That was kind of my heyday again. And so his music reminds me a lot of that. Plus the music, the lyrics actually make you think. It isn't all about, well, a lot of the crap that rap nowadays is all about. So really like him. Guns N' Roses. I had a chance to see Guns N' Roses again. Halloween, actually, out at the Hard Rock Cafe and Resort. Hard Rock Resort, I should say, and Casino out in Vegas. This is my VIP pass. Had a chance to meet a few of the guys. Got there a little bit early, and I was hanging out outside their sound check, and Frank came out and added his signature, Frank the drummer. So that was cool. We got Tommy Stinson, who signed here and then Ronthal Bumblefoot, who signed for me back in 2009. And actually I have another one of these that's hanging on my wall that I know you folks have seen already, that Frank signed. Dizzy Reed signed it, and then not Robin Fink, but another guitarist that I am totally blanking on the name. Not DJ, he signed a CD for me. I'll come back to that. It'll come to me. Anyway, great show. If you get a chance to see Guns N' Roses, people can say whatever they want to about them, but these guys know how to play. And they were really cool at the meet and greet, too. And then another great back bar show. Bob brought in Kill Devil Hill, which has Rex Brown from Pantera on bass, Vinny Appice from Black Sabbath on drums, Dewey Bragg, lead vocals, and then the guitarist is from Wasp. And so just an amazing show. And all the guys are really cool. Hung out with us afterwards, talking, sharing stories from the road. So Vinny signed this album of Black Sabbath for me. Alright, next, went and saw Hailstorm when they were in Madison. They signed this album for me. It was actually really cool. They were on stage when they found out they got nominated for a Grammy. And so that was pretty cool to be a part of that. Next, we have The Head and the Heart. A record store called Strictly Disc did something where if you bought albums by some of the musicians they were sponsoring, they would actually get them signed for you. So I didn't go to this show, but I got it through the record store. Heartless Bastards. Some more Heartless Bastards. Just a whole lot of Heartless Bastarding around here. And last one by the Heartless Bastards. They have she has a really cool, just chill voice. High on Fire. This was an interesting show. Saw these guys with Priestess and Bison and Black Cobra. Most of it was not quite my style. I like heavy metal, but this was just a little bit more stoner than I prefer. In fact, as I was talking to the lead singer afterwards, I think a guy was selling them drugs. It was just kind of awkward. But they all signed my stuff, so that was nice of them. Another High on Fire album. And then we got Hollywood Rose, Roots of Guns N' Roses, signed by Tracy Guns and Gilby Clarke. Hinder, saw these guys in Milwaukee. Waited out by the bus. They're a real cool lead singer. Took forever to come out. All the other guys were outside just hanging, talking. It was before the show, so you got to respect that. But it was nice that they came out and signed some stuff. Let's see, this was a record store day promotion. Hollywood Undead. So it came with the picture, signed by all the guys, and then the picture disc. So I actually have 1, 2, 3 of these. In This Moment, these folks opened for Hailstorm when I saw them, so they all signed this afterwards. The blue marker didn't come out quite how I was hoping, but that's alright. Joe Satriani. Saw him at a place called Casio Interstate Music, and he signed some albums and a guitar for me. One of these videos I'll have to show you my signature guitar and go through all the signatures on it. Kill for Thrills. This is one of Gilby Clarke's first band. He signed it for me. Gilby Clarke, he took Izzy Stradlin's place in Guns N' Roses on guitar. King Cobra, signed by Carmen Appice. That's Vinny's from Black Sabbath and Heaven and Hell, his brother. He played with King Cobra and signed this. Saw him when he was playing with Michael Schenker Group, or just Michael Schenker. Kingdom Come, signed by the drummer, who's also the drummer for the Scorpions. I met this guy out in California, and his crew was very cool. They went and got him. This is supposed to be a smiley face. He was so drunk that the crew, his manager was there, and it's like, hey, this guy wanted to come meet you and ask if you'd sign some stuff. And he was like trying to shake her hand, and she's like, no, it's this guy right here. So it was very nice that he aroused himself enough to sign, but it's pretty messy. Let's see here. James Kotek, that's the name. James Kotek. Lynch Mob. Rick Dries brought these guys in to Scats in Middleton when it was open, and so this is signed by George Lynch, and then the lead singer, that I can't remember his name, Oni maybe? Maps and Atlases, a little bit more mellow band, but they did it in-store at a record store. That record store Strictly Discs again, so they signed that. Mastodon. You already heard me talk a little bit about the in-stores they did, but this is one of the albums I had them sign. These guys are real cool. Another one. I brought my son with me, and they offered to sign him, which I thought about it for a minute. I didn't think my wife would like it too much. Just the artwork on these is just gorgeous. Disturbing, but gorgeous. I really like this one. It's one of my favorites. Leviathan. So, signed by all 4. Last one. Crack the Sky. So, again, they were really cool. Hung out with the fans. Talked for a little bit. MC Light, she came to the UW-Madison campus for a partnership with the program that are called First Wave, and actually signed this one to Gavin, my son, and signed these 2 for me. Gotta love the 90s. But MC Light was really the first female MC to make it big. Megadeth. signed by Al Petrelli, who actually wasn't on this album, but he signed it. And then Dave. This is a really messy Dave Mustaine signature. I think maybe he was in a hurry or something, but that's Dave, even though it looks not really a whole lot like his. Michael Schenker Group. Rick Dries, the guy who used to work put on a lot of concerts at Scats, brought him back in, and I struck out with Michael the last time he was here, so Rick hooked me up, and he and his crew took my stuff back and got it signed, so big thanks to Rick. I actually couldn't make this show. I was at a conference. That was actually when I went and saw Guns N' Roses out at the conference, and so big thanks to Rick for getting this stuff signed. So we had that, this one, I love Macaulay's hair there. It's pretty awesome. And he was also on this compilation, Metal Killers. Motorhead, signed by Phil. Another Motorhead. There's Lemmy, and Phil Campbell, and Peter, and I can't remember the other guy's name, but that looks really cool. The copper color on the black. Another Motorhead, signed by Lemmy. Saw him a couple of times in Milwaukee at the Eagles Ballroom. Opeth, signed by Frederick Atkinson, the guitarist. Overkill, saw these guys at the Eagles Ballroom and Rave in Milwaukee. They signed a few albums for me. It's kind of funny, the bat, or the skull with the bat wings, it's also Avenged Sevenfold's moniker, even though these guys have had it for a lot longer. I think there's maybe a little cause of tension there. Pantera, I told you all that I saw Kill Devil Hill, Rex Brown, he signed here. He actually signed on the actual vinyl itself, too. So it was cool to have a legend like Rex add his signature to my collection. Pretty Boy Floyd, saw these guys out at Rockfest in California. So they signed this for me. It's awesome. 80s right there. Priestess, from the show that I went to with High on Fire. Another Priestess. It's a really cool looking album. I like the look of that. Queensryche, Operation Mindcrime 2, signed by Mike Stone. It's a little bit hard to see, but there's his autograph. He actually signed the records for me as well. He was the guitarist for this album. And Quiet Riot, signed by Frankie Banali, who was the drummer. Alex Grassi, he is the most recent guitarist. He wasn't on this album, but he signed it. And Chip, oh boy, what is Chip's last name? I'm sorry, not Chip, Chuck Wright. He was on this album, he signed it, and then their new lead singer signed it for me as well. A couple more Quiet Riot, signed by the same guys. Again, just a quintessential 80s cover, along with this one. Then in the back, Rage Against the Machine. I met Tom Morello at a rally for workers' rights, and he signed two of these, one for me that's on my wall, and then this one for my son. I'm going to give to him when he gets a little bit older. This is random. Ron Lloyd. Long story how I got this. I found the record, I thought it looked cool. I looked up Ron Lloyd and actually sent it to him, and he signed it for me. So it's just kind of a random story. Sabotage. A very underrated band. These are the guys that turned into or formed Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and so this is signed by, I think, Johnny, the bassist. The TSO shows all the people wait afterwards and they sign stuff, and so I had a chance to get him to sign, and then Chris Caffrey, the guitarist, on here, and another guy who I can't remember who, but some of the guys who played on this album. Next we got Sean Mullins. Silver Sun Pickups. They did a signing at a booth at Summerfest in Milwaukee, so I got a couple albums signed by them. Skeleton Witch, a little bit more hardcore for me. They did a signing at the Exclusive Company. This one I took my son with me, who was probably about 6 months at the time, and these guys, all these tattoos, big scraggly beards, holding their beers. they see my son. I have my wife's pink camera, totally metal. And the lead singer's like, guys, hide your beer. There's a baby. I'm like, it's really okay, guys. But they insisted on hiding their beer so we could get a picture. It was cute. Slash. Another Sponge album. Thanks to Bob for getting that signed for me. Switchfoot. Met these guys at Summerfest as well. Talib Kweli, exclusive company, did a signing with him. He was real quiet at first until, I got to talking, and it's like, this album right here, I heard some of the songs on here and just opened my eyes. And so he opened up then, and got a chance to talk, just for a couple of minutes. But, it's really cool when the artists know that you actually appreciate their work. So, Talib. Next, Tantric, signed by the lead singer here. I've got a few. These are actually sealed. He signed on the plastic for me. And then Tesla, I've seen these guys a few times. This one's signed by Dave and Frank, the guitarists. Dave wasn't the original guitarist, but he's who plays with them now. He's actually on this album here, so both of them signed this for me, Forevermore. Mechanical Resonance, signed by Frank and Dave. And then the Fifth Quarter. So University of Wisconsin's had the same marching band director for a long time, and Mike LaCrone is his name. And so he signed a couple of these, the Fifth Quarter UW-Madison records for me. Tommy Stinson and his wife signed this at the record store in Chicago before the Guns N' Roses show. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, an album flat that after the show, everybody signed for me. I'll come back to this one. Well, let's see, maybe I can open it. Another TSO, everybody signed the record for me, which I think looks really, really cool. Put that to the side. One more Sabotage, signed by Johnny Middleton. Twista, Bob at the Back Bar, brought him in, did a meet and greet beforehand. Twista came, stayed for about 2 minutes, and then bailed. But I had my albums, and I was like one of 3 people that actually got some stuff signed. One of his people with him, one of his crew, saw me and motioned me over and signed it. So thanks from your boy, Twista. So, got a couple there signed. And then Valiant Thor, they opened for Motorhead. Got to see them. Warbringer, I think they were at the show with Overkill. Warrant, had a chance to see them at the Back Bar. Not with Janie Lane, but the new guy is amazing. So, signed a couple albums for me. Of course, Cherry Pie. I've got 2 of these. Dirty, Rotten, Filthy, Stinkin' Rich. And then Wasp, Rick Dries again, when he was promoting for Scats, brought Wasp in. Just an amazing show. Would love to see these guys again. So everybody signed. Blackie, he even waited in the bus, and we could come up to the bus and get some stuff signed. So got a couple of albums signed. Blackie Lawless. Whispertown 2000, very random. I don't know. They signed it for me. I think they opened for a show I went to. Wild Cherry. Lead singer Rob Parisi signed a couple pictures and actually signed, I think, the back of the album for me. Let's see here. What else? Oh, Y&T. Rick from Scats brought these guys in. Dave Manichetti, lead guitar and singer, signed some albums. Real fun show. If you get a chance to see Y&T, go see him. And then Yes, met the drummer on this album, Buford. What's his first name? Bill Bruford. Buford? Anyway, Gavin and I, my son, went to it, and he signed this for us, which is really cool. What else we got here? Some random pictures. Looks like that's, who is that? 3 Days Grace. And The Metal Years. Decline of Western Civilization Part 2. And this is signed by Alice Cooper when I met him at a show up near Escanaba in the UP of Michigan. So, I think this video is long enough. Sorry that it's so long. It's about 20 minutes. But just wanted to go through a few more albums and show you all. I think that's pretty much it for my albums. Eventually, I'd like to make maybe another video showing you all my signed CDs and other random stuff, posters. But I definitely will do one on my guitar because it's pretty cool. Anyway, from here in Wisconsin, this is Mancave Dave. I hope that January is treating you well, and keep on rocking. I'll see you all at the next show.